G'day everyone. In today's video I want to talk to you about how I declutter at school. Decluttering at school is something that gets pushed off to the side because we're so busy, and teachers are very famous for collecting a lot of books and a lot of paper and kind of drowning in everything. It's that really tricky decision of trying to figure out what do I actually need and what might I need for the future. So here are my 5 tips for decluttering at school. First of all, choose your time wisely. There are times of the year that are really busy and you have lots of deadlines, and there are other times of the year that are a bit quieter. So pick the quieter times. I usually try and aim for the end of each term. We don't get a lot of spare time at school, so I try and chunk my time into 5, 10 or 15-minute segments. Put my timer on my phone and just do as much as I can. Wherever possible, reduce, reuse and recycle. You know, this is what happens at home as well, and we should try and do that at school also. I always use the backs of papers that have only been used on one side. I use the blank side as scrap paper in my classroom, like I know lots of teachers do. Prevention is better than cure. Think before you print. Try not to print out heaps and heaps of worksheets and heaps of copies that you may not need. Wherever possible, get kids to write in their English books or their books that they have for your subject, and also use Google Classroom whenever you can. Typically these are the things that I try and address each term. I try and declutter my emails, my papers, papers in the classroom, papers in the staff room, papers in cupboards, papers in stacks everywhere. My digital files, both on the Google Drive and on my external hard drive. My classroom surfaces, and this is well overdue for me, but desk drawer and filing cabinet. Here is some footage of me late last term trying to declutter. It's not complete because I think as a teacher, what job is ever totally complete? But this is something that I like to address on a regular basis so that I don't end up with towers and towers of papers building up around me. Let's go to the footage. Today I've got a little bit of spare time, and so I thought that I would spend some time decluttering at school. Show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I can't show you this bit, but I'm going to spend 15 minutes decluttering my emails, deleting stuff, putting stuff in folders and saving stuff that I need to save. Okay, so the next little task is this here that have been sitting there for probably over 12 months, I'm pretty sure. So that's embarrassing, and I don't need all this paper, and I feel like because it's in boxes already, I could maybe tackle one box at a time. So I will also put my timer on, but the bell's going to go, so this time I'm only going to do 5 minutes. Okay, so because it's so close to the bell, I've actually brought those papers, the boxes of papers, into my classroom, and because my next period the students are going to be watching a film, so I figured I can actually multitask and do some of this at the same time as they're watching the film. My only issue with that is that the blinds will be down, the lights will be off, so it depends how many students I have turn up today, but if it's not too many, I'm going to ask them if I can sit here next to the window. This is the back window, and I'll just have this blind down to about here so that I can just see enough to do what I have to do. So because I want to go, I don't think paperless is really realistic or achievable, so I'm just going to minimize my paper. So because I want to minimize my paper, I'm actually not going to have a keeping pile. I'm going to have a scanning pile though, so I'll show you what I've set up here on my desk. So all I've got is my recycling box. This will then go into the yellow recycling bin once it's full, and I've got this box here which is going to be my scanning, things to scan, and then on the table here I'm just going to put stuff to go to other people or other places. And then of course next to my desk I've got my bin, so stuff that can't be recycled. I imagine most of this could be recycled though, but anything that can't be recycled I'm just going to toss in there. I need to keep this one. are here, so I have to just quickly go and let them in. Okay, so sporadically throughout the day I've been working on whittling down those boxes, and this is where I'm up to. So I'll just turn the camera around and show you. So I've got a fair bit of recycling in here. This is actually, I actually realised that I need to file some of these hard copies of papers, and I think that's what I sort of mean by I don't think I can go 100% paperless, but I'm just trying to, you know, minimise the paper. These are to be sort of stored for the whole faculty to use, and then I'm down to 2 boxes, so that's pretty good. So these I've still got to go through. My ideal routine for decluttering at school would be to do this process once a term. So if you can allocate a couple of days, a couple of your light days towards the end of term. I'm filming this in week 7, Friday of week 7 of term 3. So, and Fridays are my lighter days. So I would pick a couple of days which are your lighter days towards the end of each term and do this process. The other things that I would do, and I'm going to try to do this afternoon and maybe next week Friday as well, is to go through my external hard drive and my Google Drive and try and just tidy that up, put things in folders where they're supposed to be, organise it, get rid of things that I no longer use. Also to go through classroom clutter. So my classroom's fairly minimalistic though. I keep my surfaces clean. I forgot to mention that while decluttering that paper, I actually keep these trays in my classroom. This is scrap paper for the students to use for brainstorming and planning, writing and stuff like that. And then I have lined paper that they can use to write on for assessments or for when they've forgotten their English book. Also, I meant to mention before with the recycling box, I always check the papers to make sure there's no personal information or anything like that that would be shredded. I put that aside to be shredded, just so you know. Thanks for watching my video, everyone. I'm going to try and declutter again at the end of term 4, and that'll be a bit of a bigger job because it's the end of the year. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in this content, and leave me a comment down below and tell me what you do to declutter your classroom. See you next time. And there are other times of the year. Truck.